All right, you guys are live and in person.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. And roll call, looks like everybody's here except Leah.
Leah's sick, yeah.
Absent excused.
Absent excused.
Yeah, I just have been.
Agenda approval. So I wanted,
We added one thing, I believe, since I sent it out, and that was the urban forestry budget.
Do we have another agenda?
Oh, okay.
Item D,
I'll grab it another way.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, we don't have to make an amendment because you're approving what's in front of you, not what went out on email.
okay. Where are we gonna, where is that gonna be added though?
item
Is
D
that the
under old
previous
business.
Yeah.
It was the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
It's our minutes from last.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
second?
You didn't have to do it.
Tony.
Oh, are you asking for a second? I thought you were second.
I would second, but I have it,
I
I
don't know
don't
if the
have one.
president's supposed to.
Second.
No, they're not.
All in
I
favor?
was thinking you were.
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Minutes approval, December 2024.
Wow, we've been 2 months. I was the craw back then.
First
I'd had surgery on my hand 2 weeks beforehand.
It should come from the people that were here.
Right?
So Jen or Steve.
Okay, yeah, so maybe Steve can make the motion and Jen, if they're fine, you can do the second.
Okay.
If you look at it first though.
I don't see anything on there amiss. I'll wait till everybody else has had a chance. Everybody else good?
We weren't here, so we can't.
What's that?
We weren't here.
Oh, Jen, do you need?
Oh, you were good.
Thanks. I did look at it before.
So it's just you and I.
It's just us.
I move that, I move we accept the minutes as presented.
And I second that.
And we don't really need a vote because it's all good.
Yeah,
Because you guys already did the vote.
yep, we did.
And he's not here, so.
Okay. Alrighty, no public comments, I presume. We'll move on to old business, Tree City USA Growth Award.
So I just got notification that both our Tree City application and our growth award were approved.
Great.
And so they will be shipping us our bling. That's all. When that gets here, I'll let you know. I think that's pretty much it for that.
Great. 2025 work plan.
So we talked about that at the December meeting, I think, and I gave you guys copies to kind of look at and see if there was anything that you wanted to add or change. There will be some adaptation because of the grant award, and so I'll probably go back and update that and send it out to you guys again. But I didn't know if there was anything else in there that you had on your agendas that you wanted to include in that work plan.
You got a grant?
Oh, just wait, it's coming next.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be.
The building.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll send that out again and you guys can
Look
give
at
it
it.
another
Okay.
look-see.
Thanks. So, urban forestry budget.
We're doing-
Oh, sorry, I missed
Yeah,
the grant
grant.
application.
Tony's dying.
And you wanna do that one, Stu? or
That was
want me to-
But it says application, but it's not an application, it's an actual.
Let's
Yeah,
do
I
the
think
UF budget first and then do the 2 grants right after.
You wanna do that?
We've
Yeah.
already approved
Okay.
the agenda.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Alright.
It makes no never mind to me. What are we
Steve's
doing?
the rep.
All right.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Let's do the-
Actually, we should do the grant first because it might relate to the budget
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
in the conversation. Because you might say, we need this, but we actually already have it. So, go ahead, Teresa, do the.
So our grant application was approved for the Oregon Department of Forestry sub-award grant. And so the total was $363,403.
Wow!
So what do we do? Was that
That's
the one
a
to
lot
hire
of
a
money.
person?
Yeah, that's the one to hire a person.
Yay,
And so-
congratulations.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. And so anyway, that will be our first step. Well, so it's kind of on the down low right now. Don't go out and say, hey, we got all this money, because We haven't had, well, we did have our initial meeting with ODF, but we're gonna have, that was a group meeting to do the general stuff. And then we have our individual meeting with them on the 25th. And they said to wait until after that meeting, because we have to have our agreement, our subaward agreement in place before we do any
Announcement.
fanfare.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that
Although I guess it's out on the public.
federal action to freeze grants was not
Those were a
a
lot of
factor
questions.
here?
It isn't yet,
Okay,
because urban forestry wasn't specifically called out in that first round of things that the administration said we're not gonna fund.
Well, actually,
You wanna go ahead?
the
Zach?
state already has a signed agreement with the feds, so
okay.
it's already been executed. So
Right.
they aren't 100% sure, but the administration hasn't said, freeze things that we've already committed to, just upcoming, like from now on, in
Right.
other words, right? So they're pretty confident, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's
if,
a moving
if,
target right now,
if,
right?
if, let's not wade into that, but good, I'm glad. How much did you say it was for? what?
640.
363, 403,
For how many years?
97.
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the highlights of this are to hire a contractor to evaluate the tree canopy in underserved neighborhoods. That's through something called Plant Geo. That's a state partner that we're gonna work with. To hire a coordinator, add full-time, full benefits for 3 years that will do outreach in those underserved neighborhoods. And then,
They're
also
close.
plant trees in those underserved neighborhoods, not only just on public property, but private property as well. So that's kind of those are the high level highlights of that. So, ideally we hire this person in the spring sometime, ideally by April when we do Arbor Day, and then they can kind of be here to see all the action.
And then,
And if we get the right person, then they could transition into the retired urban forester
Right.
position, and then we would backfill that position, but.
right,
who
And
knows?
I do think, just from reading stuff about when they're successful in these underserved areas, it would be great to try to recruit someone from that area.
Absolutely,
Okay.
that's in the,
Okay,
that's in the
okay.
plan.
Okay.
And then the only other thing as part of the project is some maintenance. We have some dollars budgeted for maintenance in those areas, pruning and possible removal.
just, the guy that I've been working with on therapy for my hand, lives in that area. And I told him that, the city might have a grant to put trees, and he and if I remember right, this was the possibility of putting them on private ground too. I said, and he said, yeah, we don't have any trees in our yard. I said, well, I will give you a heads up that you might be able to do that. And he was really stoked. Now he
Okay.
rents, so that might be an issue, but
Well, we're gonna have to figure all that
yeah.
out. So,
And you just give me
It's big news, though.
Down in my knee. It feels really good to rub it.
Okay. Still
And so-
can't believe you have gout.
If it's okay with you, Madam Chair, we can talk about the other grant application, and the only update there is that's for the the Island City Avenue trees that would go from Riddle Road towards Island City, 1,600-ish feet,
Uh-huh.
kind of to the end of the trailer park. So that's still pending. They sent us an email just saying, hey, we're still going through these. Please be patient. So
Okay.
that's for 70 or 80,000, which will pay for the excavation, the mulch, the trees, the cages,
Cool.
feeders, etc.
Great.
Unless you have a different update with that, was that right? Just
Nope, that was it,
Yeah, so,
that was it.
So how does the UF budget now work in with this grant thing?
well, a couple things, so, one, the personnel budget has to change, right, cause we have an
Right.
added position, so, so that will happen. The reason this is on your agenda is, back to you.
So, what I've been trying to get in place is a rotational pruning program for the parks. So, yeah, I'll just pass that around. So what it basically would be, every year, there would be a park or parks that we have contracted to prune, stuff that we can't do ourselves. And we had, theoretically, that money was supposed to be housed in the parks budget, but they have so many unforeseen things that come up that it's kind of hard to make sure that money's gonna be there to prune trees, cause that kinda goes to the bottom of the list when you got other things to
Right.
maintain. And so Stu suggested that we move that to the urban forestry budget. And so we wanna add that to our budget request this year. And we kinda ballparked a figure of $10,000 per year.
Had you been putting that money into another budget account, and then it just
Grounds maintenance in the
yeah,
parks
so then it kind of got swept.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes-
And how do you think that's going to go over with Robert and the budget committee? Do you think that that's
I think it's fairly doable just because I've been squeaking my grounds maintenance budget up each year
okay?
to kind of try and cover this
Yeah.
stuff. And if it's, and if, I don't know if parks can drop their budget in any way to reflect that.
Yeah. All right.
And just the fact that it's always, it should be an easy sell when you are looking at risk reduction.
Well, I'm on budget committee too, so it's nice for me to know ahead of time what I'm looking for on both Parks and Rec and the UF budget. So
The biggest thing is that this should come from the commission because it's a stronger argument to the budget committee than when it comes from the staff, right? So if we put in the budget narrative, staff wants an extra 10 grand for this, it's fine. But it would be better if the Community Landscape Forestry Commission requests 10,000 for this.
Well, and it would be another 7,000, cause I already have 3,000 that I've done in that budget.
so how do we best do that?
You
By
just
vote?
simply, you can talk about it and either come to a
it on the
consensus or
agenda.
vote, and then we'll put it in the budget narrative.
Is
Is there
it when
anything
you're
else that
done?
was weird this year for the budget?
What are the parking lots?
The First Street, or the First Street Avenue parking lot. Where is that?
The
Which
old
one?
OTEC lot, is that what you're looking
The
at?
Washington, the
Oh.
Washington one is the old OTEC,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay,
The
what's
First
the
Street.
First Street?
I would say it's Elm
Fur.
Street.
Fur?
It should have
First
been
Street.
crossed off there and put on the other one, it should just say Washington. I must have grouped it wrong.
So you can do, and that makes sense. I mean,
Oh.
looking at this, I mean,
They're
you
grouped
you grouped,
to balance.
yeah, and then because Riverside Park is
Huge.
It's
Yeah.
a full year itself.
Yeah, Riverside and
Pioneer,
Pioneer. Right.
right?
A 3-year rotation is a good rotation too.
Yeah.
I mean, the cost is gonna go down probably after the first 3 years, right?
Yeah, maybe, depends.
How often have you had them pruned?
As needed.
I would
sporadically.
assume that
Not
price would go down. And
rotationally,
the first bit was 6,700 or something.
yeah.
See the First
Yeah.
Street parking lot's on the top, and then Washington's low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, so this one, yeah.
There's only like one tree in that, there's.
Well, it's
three.
those oak trees and then the maples along the street, and so, yeah.
And who you?
So,
I didn't.
yeah, actually, probably,
It
I don't know,
looks
needs to
like you
stay
had
somewhere.
contractors on
3
it.
of them.
Yeah.
3 different contractors, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of just depends on, who gives me a good
Right.
bid.
The best.
I've seen that I can't remember what his name is. It's just one single guy, and he's got a trailer, and he goes out and prunes.
That's Michael.
Michael.
Michael has the trailer, but
Yeah.
there's also Morgan, is a single guy.
He's got a ponytail and
That's probably Morgan.
yeah,
It's not Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's got short hair.
And
If-
that's urban
yeah,
forest.
and he's he looks like he knows what he's doing because he was
He's pretty good.
yeah.
So
I've
the
seen him
next-
on. He was on. What's that?
So go ahead.
I saw him on. He was over by
See
where
one of
Robert
these
lives.
people here.
But I also saw him. You had him do some work at Benton Street.
Yes, yeah, he did. those
Yeah,
ones at Benton.
and they look great.
Is that TMB?
Yeah, and that's kind of a funny story. His name is Tyler Morgan Bloyd, so it's TMB, Tree Preservation. But now, he's such a funny guy. Now it's the Tree Mechanic Bureau. It's still TMB.
Yeah. Well, that fits the character that I see out there.
What were you gonna say, Robert?
Say you're gonna be looking for the next urban forester. I mean, could they not climb trees? Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's an option. You have to invest in, the,
It's a lot of fun
the
stuff for Arbor
equipment.
Day and
Yeah,
insurance, but
So, with regards to this request, I think it would be, I think it's a reasonable thing to do. I think Robert's notion that, the initial cost may be kind of high just because some of that work hasn't been done in a while.
Deferred.
But as you get into a rotation, it might go a little quicker, might not.
And
But
that's just kind of a round number, we may not, it may come in under that, I don't, yeah, just.
So
kinda
you,
what to
you
say.
would like a motion that the commission
the-
wants
yeah, I move,
would like
Plus it in the budget.
$7,000 in the budget, in our
How-
budget?
how would
City
you-
budget?
Word that, Sue.
That's fine, I'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would-
I'd
that would
make
be
a motion
this
that the Community Landscape and Forestry Commission recommends that $7,000, that the
Be
urban
requested to the
forestry
city.
maintenance budget line item be increased by $7,000 to initiate a rotational tree maintenance program in the parks.
Perfect. It's nice to have a former mayor on our
And that- and
committee.
And it always sounds like it goes on and on and on and on, but you
That
want
would
to
hit
get as
this
much.
budget negotiations as well.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah, so it would be funded in July this year.
Is there a second?
A second.
I third.
All right. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Motion
All
carried.
right.
Appreciate that.
Cool. Was there anything else in the budget?
She said no.
I don't have anything out of the ordinary. We are gonna budget again for a seasonal person, but that's been in there for a couple of years, so.
Cool.
Do you have anybody wanting to come back and do it?
I don't know if Alyssa will wanna come back or not. I'll definitely check with her.
So, okay, Grand Ron Hospital parking. New
This is
parking
your
lot.
item, right, Jen?
It is. I just wanna make sure, that we get trees around it. After seeing what the high school, or the middle school.
Are they
Wildcat is.
actively doing things up there? I haven't been up there.
Well, I just see cars parked there,
Mhm.
but that's all, but I feel like things can happen quickly.
So-
And then-
Is this the one down by the Arboretum?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, yeah. I
It
guess
used to be a field, and now it's gonna be a parking lot, and I want trees around it.
I don't know that if I'm not sure we have any teeth in an ordinance that talks about a parking lot. We have teeth when it comes around development and buildings.
What we do with
Oh,
Safeway,
yeah, I
right?
thought
We did
Safeway
initially
had
because
to.
it's a new
Well,
build.
that's because it's related to the remodel
It was a
of the
permit.
building.
So,
Yeah, but
so,
this
so
is
there's
new
never been a
parking lot.
parking lot there,
There was.
so that might be
That's my
new.
only question. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but now that you brought it up, we can research it.
I think it's
Okay.
because, I think we talked about this before, when it's
Mhm.
permitted, it initiates, just like ODOT doing
Right.
an expansion.
it's just,
But
I
they're
haven't,
those are building related things like structure. Like
Yeah.
there's a structure.
Oh, they're just doing a
There's no
But this
portion.
is,
structure,
but this
right?
is related to their expansion. Totally.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Yeah,
I'll
I
have
had-
to
We can tie it
check
into
with
that.
Mike on that, because I haven't seen any, land development plan for doing any changes to a parking lot.
We'll check it out.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
On
which-
that, on that note, I wanna get back to the middle school.
Are they gonna
I
use-
talked to Parker McKinley about that.
Who's that?
He's the lead in the Tiger Homes, and he gets the kids
It's a high school teacher and
Right.
a baseball coach.
Okay.
right, and he suggested potentially that it could be in a portion of coursework to tear out the pavement and restructure that area. If there was a certain way, did we ever finish that topic on
When I talked with,
that? Miss,
the grounds person, or not grounds person, facilities person, his name's gone out of my head. They were thinking more, Brad Sunderman,
Yeah.
thank you. They were thinking more of it, rather than removing pavement right along the curb, taking out a section of the rock between the building and the sidewalk and putting the trees in that area.
And what do you think about that?
I
Like,
think that would be okay.
Survival wise?
Yeah, I think it would be okay, because the trees are gonna be on the shade side, there's not gonna be a lot of reflected heat. The farther away they are from the street, the better, as far as I'm concerned, except that, the closer they are to the street, the more shade on the street. But they're also tend to get more damage the closer they are to the street.
so on that note, can we make that an Arbor Day deal to where we
Yeah, we can certainly look into it.
can put trees in the area, because it is, like what we talked about,
I
all the
wonder
way
if
around
it's on
the rock
Google
area.
Earth.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I
are they
don't know.
required to put these trees in? Or
Well,
they just,
this was a whole fiasco.
It was a miss and
Because-
It's a miss, that's it.
It was a mess, yeah,
a
because
couple misses, yeah.
when the plan originally came out, it didn't look like the plan that got final approval.
It had
And
trees.
so,
Did it?
well, and it didn't, yeah, it
It
was
wasn't
different.
very clear either. We all looked at it.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a ball dropped on my part for not following up with that as they were in construction. So,
Well, and plan,
It was
does the
really
county
short.
plan review, do they have a say in that too? Did they have a miss on that?
The county
no,
does.
I don't think the
Oh, it
county
shows the
has
new- the
anything.
new structure
Plans
already.
review,
but
No,
isn't there some
How they changed and they
language
had
in there?
plans, but they didn't get in code.
it would just be city as far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't think the
Okay.
county has anything to do
Right,
with
okay.
it.
Well, Google Maps updates pretty quick because that building's,
There's the middle school.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
there's the front corner,
When it was tan colored,
Hold
now
on
it,
one second.
now
I'll
it's
just
the
zoom
prison.
in for a
It's the
second.
prison block.
Right.
That's what it totally looks like a prison now. It's
That's what
gray.
my granddaughter said.
Yeah.
Did she talk already? She's only 2 weeks old. Oh.
No,
Kidding,
the mouthy
Kidding,
one.
kidding. Sorry, it's hard to do with this no mouse.
So probably more than likely, they're gonna be more amenable to removing rock than removing pavement.
Okay, so here's the rock
But we
right
can-
here, all the way down
Are
here.
they
Yeah.
Here's
balking at
the
this at all?
pavement
So it's,
here.
it's curbed, but there's pavement there. Or no,
This
it-
is-
no, it's not curbed. Is it on the street side?
This side's
I think
curved.
there is curb, yeah, on the
This
street
side,
side.
Oh, goodness.
yeah, this is all
yeah,
paved.
you can see the the curve, the pavement line, Robert. And then
Yeah.
it comes up on the left
Believe
and
it.
curves
So
around.
That was kind of a big miss.
Yeah, that was a
So
huge
there
miss.
is a bit more space
Here's
in the
other
rock
miss.
area than in the pavement area.
But you're still not gonna get full
Look at
canopy
that.
trees.
No,
out
No,
they're
there.
gonna
I
be
was also
columnar
wondering
trees.
about
Yeah.
that spot right there, like that middle spot on the road. There's that big
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
Like it
uh-huh.
feels like I feel like we could have a tree there.
Okay, yeah, that's a
Can have a full
possibility.
canopy
You're
tree.
talking about
Right.
this tree, this spot?
No,
Right
no, no.
in the
in
middle.
the middle.
Yeah.
Like
Right there.
right now it's just like this ugly
The
like
walkway goes
barricade
through it.
type thing so that people don't drive there.
It looks like they did, was that hydro mulch there, so that's gonna be grass.
Yeah, but we could definitely look at seeing if they'd be willing to plant a tree there.
Are they bulking it
But you
all
can see all the way up the
putting
side of
trees?
the building, there's
No,
no.
as a matter of
there's no
fact,
trees.
Yeah, well, there's no, yeah, I don't know that, because the
When I-
parking goes right up to
when
the
I
edge of the
took
building, doesn't it?
trees
Not a lot
up
of
for them
room
to
there.
plant
Yeah.
in the courtyard at the high school,
Court.
I was waiting for them to open the gates, and that's when Bob Sunderman came out and said, "Hey, I was just going to talk with you about the middle school." So he actually
Okay, good.
initiated it.
Well, they put a lot of new parking in there, didn't they?
I know, and not a
Yeah.
single
And I
tree.
know there should be one tree for every
I know.
6 spaces.
I know.
So yeah, I
can't
told
believe that they
my-
didn't want it.
I
Yeah.
know.
That's what blows my
Exactly.
No
mind.
shade.
For a high school, for
And
a middle school.
I just don't understand the whole process because
I think
that
everyone
building's
just
so
looked at the
ugly.
initial plans, cause we did, and there was spots for everything, and then when
Yeah.
it came to, and
yeah,
they
didn't
didn't
do it.
add them, it was just
yeah,
assumed.
it looked different than the
Yeah.
original. But yeah.
It's a human nature miss, yeah.
So there's 10, 20. There's 48 spots there for cars, 50 maybe, so there should be potentially 6 trees someplace.
Other way around, it's 1 for every 6, there should be 8 trees.
8, okay.
But they can stick 8 trees in there, around that side, and then if they do 1 or 2 over there and there,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
space for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't meet the intent of the
I
parking
know.
lot requirement. But
Huh.
The greenhouse
Yeah.
is in good shape though, not a lot of trees for shade.
Okay, cool. Thank you. New business, elections.
Right, so every January/February, in your case, we elect a chair and a co-chair, or sorry, vice chair for each commission. So, what you can do is you can open the floor for nominations, Jen, and accept them and close them whenever, and
Okay, I open
Do
the
your thing.
floor for nominations. Who's my vice chair? Oh, Steve.
Don't you guys usually just switch?
Or rotate.
Well, I thought what it was is that the vice would go to chair and then you would elect a vice. But I mean, if you wanted to do both
Do
of
whatever
them.
you want. It's not set up that way. So.
I elect Leah. I nominate Leah.
That's amazing.
I bet she'd be vice chair.
She could. She's probably done it a time or two already.
Yes, she has.
Robert, you wanna be chair?
Many times.
Well, we're gonna segue into the selection
no.
conversation that I have to have.
Are you
So-
leaving us?
Well, no, I'm not. But I'm not gonna offer a disservice to you either, just in case. So I got a promotion at work, and so I run 4 out of 5 departments at my work.
Wow.
And I don't know if I can. I'd like to, but a lot of times I think I'm just a little busy at work, and I can't manage my schedule appropriately to be able to be here. And I want to make sure that you guys have somebody that's going to be here every time. So I've missed maybe a handful of meetings in 5 or 6 years. So and never a tree planting or an Arbor Day. So I can still do Arbor Day and I can still do tree planting. It's not a problem that I see yet. But the monthly meetings, I don't want to not be here to where you guys don't have a quorum and get business done. So Steve, Jennifer, Tony, if you guys have anyone that you know that would potentially take my place, I will be here as well as I can until we find someone
Oh, great.
that will apply. But I'll
So
try
to
my
make-
best.
So to make that happen logistically, you should resign and then you can still come, but it won't, like a spot won't open until you do that. They won't advertise it until you do that, right?
Okay, so I
you
can
can't-
still offer the quorum though, even though I resigned waiting. No, there's just no way around it.
No, the city has to, I mean, the quorum won't change. It'll still be 3 with or without you.
Sure.
But unfortunately,
We'll only
You
have
can't-
4 people.
we can't accept applications when there's not a spot, if that makes sense,
Sure.
which is weird, but
How many spots do we have?
So if the
Do we
camera's
have only 5?
if the camera is off, could I ask them to, get with their friends, and once they find one, I go ahead and resign?
sure. You can do that on
I'm
camera.
I'm bringing my replacement.
You can do that on camera, it's totally fine.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody could just show up as a citizen and just be here and then say, hey, I'm interested in this, and then if there was a spot, I would apply, and that would be your cue.
Right. Okay. So we'll leave it at that.
No
Cool.
problem.
Well, thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
You sound
Well, I
so
want to do
excited.
both, but right now I can't. And
Yeah.
maybe when I can, and I'm able to manage, this new position and extracurriculars.
Were you with Miller's when they were in downtown here?
No.
Okay.
No, I started there managing outdoor power between both the locations, being the buyer and
Okay.
the everything for lawnmowers, chainsaws, and bringing a new kind of leg to their business. So
And then he's so dynamic of a leader, they just keep promoting him.
Yep.
Awesome. Sorry, Jim, back to you.
That's okay. So vice chair.
Steve, do you wanna be chair?
I'll take on
Yep.
chair if you want.
How about Tony? You're the
Okay.
yeah, third person in the room.
Well, you were
Chair
chair
before
before Jen.
Yeah.
So Jen, you're stepping down, or you're going for
She
like?
can
I'm just
do it again
I'm
if
just
she
not gonna be
wants.
chair.
Oh, gotcha.
No.
But
Well, you open
Well,
nominations for vice chair, so let's just stay with that for now, okay?
Okay.
Right.
So if
Well,
we
we
have
already
we
nominated
got the-
Steve for chair.
okay, so then somebody can close the nominations for chair.
Yeah,
You said
he's
okay,
nominated for
but
chair.
she didn't open the nominations for chair yet. So
No.
Oh, I did.
No, that was a question on my end, like what's going on, because I haven't been here.
I did too. Open the.
did you say chair?
yeah,
You said
yeah,
vice
so-
chair.
Yeah,
You
it's
said
'cause
vice
she
chair.
At
said
the
Robert.
very beginning,
Before
I said
you
vice
started,
chair?
Yeah.
She said chair. No, you said chair
No, you
before
said
Thank
chair.
you,
started.
Tony.
Oh, so
Got it. So who nominated Steve?
And he raised his hand
I
right
did.
away. I
Great. Tony
think
did great. Thank you.
Tony.
we've just forgotten.
So now you can close the nominations.
Okay, close the nomination for
Do we
chair.
vote?
This is a good reason why I should not be chair.
Everybody.
No.
You don't have to vote because you only had one nomination. So
I
you're
know.
good.
Okay,
you
there we go, we're good.
Okay, now I'm opening the floor for nominations for vice chair. And Tony, I think, has volunteered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
All right,
go.
good job, Tony.
So,
You're close.
well, you know,
Williams,
I don't, I'm gonna throw this in, because Tony was, I mean, I've only been on 2 years, and you were the chair when I started, so maybe we ought to think about asking Leah to be the vice chair.
She was chair right before me.
So that makes, we're kind of
That's the
cycling
rotation,
through,
yeah.
right? And which is a good thing to do, not only for trees to cycle pruning, but also for.
That would be fine if Leo wants to be vice
Okay.
chair.
So you want to not?
Well,
Is it
I,
okay?
I would, I mean, yes, it's okay, but I would just rather sew it up tonight and we're good. You could do that if you want to, and table it, whatever, the vice chair position, or you could just,
Text Leah and say, will you be vice chair?
well, you could do that if you want to do that.
Could.
If she responds.
She said she didn't even
She-
feel
she
well
was-
enough to zoom
Right.
in, so I don't really
I
want
doubt
to
she
bother
would check
It's
her.
up to you
phone.
guys.
Okay. Well, we can table it.
Okay.
Cool.
Sorry, Stu. We're just gonna table vice chair.
Oh, you don't have to apologize.
Stu's gonna have to type again about the same subject.
I know.
But it'll already be in there.
He's copy and paste.
Okay. So, do we need to make a motion or anything, or
For vice chair, we just table it. If you make,
no? I mean for you, for
No,
chair.
this was done.
no, it was just done.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Now,
Now do
I
you take
promise to
over?
be a dictator from day one. From now on,
You're gonna cut all funding?
I'm gonna cut off on.
Just
As long
raise
as,
it.
as long as you promise we don't have to count triangles anymore,
We don't have to count.
just
that.
trees.
Just trees.
Just the
Well, I
just the
thought we'd
living
make it easy
triangles.
and we just send the contractors to take on all the city trees. Then we don't have to worry about our jobs anymore. You know, and I give
And
them
no
access.
fires either.
And no fire, and I give them access to everybody's computer so that they can actually get something done in town. Because you know,
Okay. Arbor Day
I
poster
better watch it.
contest
We're,
planning.
we're
I
We're audio
know.
now, not video.
Oh, you're on video.
Are we? I don't see us. Oh,
Well,
wait.
nobody's
I can show
watching.
you, I can show you, but
All right.
here's what the public
Now-
sees. They see that, here you are, right up there.
So,
This
Steve,
isn't
Yes.
saved, is it?
do you take over for me now that you're
Slide for
your
I
chair?
think that I do.
And then they
Yeah,
post
why don't
on
we do that?
Facebook.
Okay.
Watch the, ceilings.
Teresa, can you report on Arbor Day and poster context planning, please?
I can. I actually just sent out the
That
invitations
was a
to
coup.
the schools today
Okay.
for the poster contest. So our theme this year is going to be trees around the world. So
neat.
that will be fun. And so just that, let's see, so the posters I always pick up on the Friday before spring break. And then that gives who's ever around spring break to come and judge the posters. Then I try to get them up in the library by the 1st of April. And then our Arbor Day, field day will be National Arbor Day, which is the last Friday in April, which I believe is the 24th, 20 something last Friday in April. So anyway, if you want to
25th.
25th. If you want to get that Friday on your calendars, April 25th for Arbor Day, that would be great.
We'll be planting trees in the middle school. Just kidding.
I don't know what, I
Yeah,
don't
where
know
are we going this
exactly
year?
where, or, I'm not sure. I need to think about that. The trickiest part with the field day is going somewhere where we can plant enough trees so that everybody feels like they get to do it. And that's getting harder and harder in the parks to plant enough trees.
I think with more planting help, if we get more people at that station, more kids can take part in planting, because it's really hard to rotate around so many groups in that short amount of time to get the trees in the ground.
You know, and that's something we can think about. We can think about just, the problem is there's so many kids.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part, is to,
And how do you find a place that needs that many trees?
yeah, unless it's the Greenway, and then you have the logistics of transporting to the Greenway and back.
Right,
So
and the
if
safety issue of being on Island Avenue.
On the Island Avenue Greenway, yeah.
We're talking
I was
about
talking
the
about Riverside
Riverside.
Park.
Okay, yeah.
But, so anyway, that's a ways off, so if you guys wanna be thinking about that and have any good ideas, the theme doesn't particularly lend itself to specific activities.
I was just thinking about that.
So we're kind of opened up to, so kind of the intent of this theme is just to kind of expose kids to the fact that there are cool trees all over the world, and all over the world trees are doing really important things in these communities. So kind of keep that in the back of your head for ideas for activities that we could do at the field day.
Do you have my greatest involvement obviously was the last year, though I have been sporadically involved with some of the Arbor Day celebrations. But I'm wondering, it would help me to kind of maybe compile some ideas if I saw what you have done in the past,
Oh, sure.
and maybe
As
you've
far
got,
as field day activities, yeah.
you know, and maybe you can just throw, you know, email us a list of stuff that you've done, and you know, these kids have not done, so there's a whole new group of kids, so we could redo something,
Yep.
or multiple things.
Well, some of the kids will be repeats.
Yeah, the fourth graders will be.
Right, but most of them, I
went
mean,
back a couple of years.
right. I mean, so you know, stuff that you did 2 years ago or beyond,
Yeah.
then you know, kids wouldn't have seen it,
Right.
and so it's, and we know it works, and you know how to put it in play. So it would then just be a matter of picking out of that group of things to do, events, and molding it around the trees of the world. Really, it's just an opportunity to get the kids out and engage with nature a little bit.
Yeah.
What about the person who did the maple sap thing?
That would be fun,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
That would be really cool.
Getting maple sap. Is it the right time?
It is that
April?
April. Well, yeah,
It's
spring.
still cold.
Yes.
Depends on how cold it is.
Yeah.
It
You need
should still
some
be
warm days to
running.
start drawing the sap up into the trees and cool nights. So it's April, March, April is when they usually do.
Well, she
And
might
do the
have
drawings.
ideas too. You said it was educational in the beginning, so. It's an
Yeah.
Educational program.
Well,
so
that was a different gal, but
Oh,
that was
okay.
a West Side person. But this person, yeah, I wish I would have got to that, but I'll see if I can track her down. I can get a hold of the folks at the library.
Yeah, because mapling happens around the world.
Yeah.
About musical instruments used
Oh,
for
yeah.
Musical instruments.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we can get the person who just recently bought the
Ah.
Stradivarius for 11.3 mil to come and talk to us about why they
Well,
bought this.
Yeah. Music teachers around all the
Well,
schools.
Yeah.
When
One
you
of the
get
Sure
some
they
reeds, they can make
play
flutes.
different
Yeah.
instruments.
One of the
That'd be
trees
cool.
that I was gonna highlight is this Socrata dragon tree, and it has sap is like this brilliant crimson red,
Oh, cool.
but they use it for varnishing violins.
Oh.
And what's that? Isn't there a tree that's like all thorns around the bark?
The monkey puzzle.
Monkey puzzle tree,
Yeah.
and you see them. They don't have. I think there's some over in the Coastland area,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all thorns.
Yep.
So that monkeys can't climb the tree very well, and it's really weird.
They are. They're very cool.
Yeah, they have these real distinct branching patterns.
Do they
Once
really
you-
have anything to do with monkeys?
Maybe where
you
they
know,
Because
originated.
I feel like they're in Australia.
It's actually on my list of trees to explore. I haven't got to it yet because I don't know much about
Where they
monkey
don't have
puzzle
monkeys.
trees.
No, we don't have monkeys, but
But we don't
I
have.
don't know if they're native to Australia.
commonly called the monkey puzzle, monkey tail. I can't pronounce half these things. Evergreen tree, grows pretty tall, 98 to 131 feet tall. Native to Chile, Argentina.
South
The
America.
hardiest species in the conifer.
They have a lot of monkeys.
They're
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, what's the other name for them? The something pine. Chili pine? Chilean pine?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Chilean.
Anyway, so I think it'll be a fun one for the kids.
Yeah.
Maybe get them actually doing a little research, and so we'll see. But yeah, those are both good ideas. Musical instruments, tapping trees, anything like. It's a pretty wide open theme.
It's a pine.
Yeah,
It was
it's
originally
amazing.
named a after a fine, but then they changed them. Oh,
Mr. Chair,
I
just-
know, Mr.
sorry,
Chair is
sorry, I'm down the rabbit hole, man.
You're making me look good.
Okay, so we have stuff for Arbor Day. You're gonna send us out some spring tree planting day.
Spring tree planting day will be that first Saturday in May, which I should have had that written down.
It's okay, the 3rd.
May 3rd.
It's not quite the
Yes, May 3rd. That will be our spring tree planting day, so if you wanna get that on your calendars. As always, I'm trying to expand our network of volunteers, so if you've got ideas for that, always happy to contact them. I think it's about all I have for that.
Okay.
I might be gone that day.
Urban Forester report.
Let's see, I sent you guys my report, and there was something I was gonna talk about on it. Shoot, now I don't remember.
Can I see the grant
Yeah.
information right there?
You bet.
Thanks.
One is the budget and one is the timeline.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my report, cause I thought there was something I was gonna mention.
Can you mention again your potential retirement date?
December.
Oh, okay,
I'm gonna bump it out
Oh,
from
good.
August to December.
okay,
Good.
So, yeah.
okay.
Oh, maybe that's what we were gonna talk about too, under budget, was budgeting for some overlap. I forgot that, yeah. Not
I
necessarily.
already told them I'm gonna do that, I already told the city council,
Oh.
so
Okay,
that's already done
well, if you wanna do
Because you
your
would've talked
reports
about
too,
that
I'll
annual
try and grab
planning.
mine.
at the retreat.
Yeah,
we talked
retreat.
about it.
You have reports too?
I don't,
Okay,
nothing to report tonight.
let
Other
Teresa
than there
do.
was a city council retreat where we talked a lot about different things, but a little bit about that overlap. When Teresa retires, we'll budget to rehire somebody a month before, and then we'll have at least that 30-day overlap. And if it's that person that we already have on, great, we'll have that extra money in the budget, and then if it's not, it'll give us some flexibility to recruit and train somebody.
Yeah.
So it won't be ideal, but these are two different positions, so the coordinator may not be interested in being an urban forester.
Right.
You'd have to, yeah, it really depends on who applies.
Right.
So, okay, so did you have anything that you wanted to report?
I'm gonna overlap it with tree care education, so
Okay,
I was gonna say, I'm pulling up your staff report.
that's okay.
for you.
all right,
It'll
moving on
probably
then, the
be okay.
pending business tree removal funding, did
We,
we talked about that?
we
but
talked about putting something about that into the budget, and then that's kind of as far as we got. And then Stu, you were thinking of trying to set it up under a memorial or a grant or
I missed it
donation.
completely, Steve, because I was concentrating on the thing. So what did you say?
Well, we had talked in the past about establishing some funds to
Oh,
help
scholarship
people
funds,
with tree removals. That when if the urban forester goes out and says that tree needs to come, it's in the planting strip, and somebody can't take it out because they haven't got the money to do that, then if we had some money in the city budget to be able to do that, but there would be qualifications
Mhm.
for the individual.
Need-based, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be need based. So
Yeah, now's the time. If you want to do that, it would be in the reserve account. It would be designated to the reserve account,
Okay.
and you can put in whatever. First year, second year, you can change it. Whatever it could be requested as a part of our budget request if you want. And then we already have the criteria. You can say, hey, bring that to us so we can approve the scholarship application for
Yeah.
trees. And then we can, if we set aside $2,000, then we can advertise that and give that away,
right.
or whatever, based on the criteria.
Probably no advertising.
No,
No.
we don't want people to take trees out.
No. I it would be on an ad need basis. There would so
Yeah.
maybe it would not be spent some years, but
Right.
other years we might have 3 or 4. But
So that's the reason it's in the reserve account, because it just stays there
Yeah.
until you use it, so,
And so when you say reserve account, is that a city-wide reserve account?
yeah,
And then just some of it is earmarked?
Right.
How does that, okay.
exactly. We do that for big purchases like the pool boiler that's $150,000.
Yeah.
We've been putting like $30,000 a year in there for a while, that kind of thing.
so
Do
how
we-
would go ahead?
I was just gonna
Sorry.
ask, do we need to make any sort of motion?
Or-
Well, you should add it to, we'll pretend that you didn't make the first one if you wanna add it, and we'll just redo the budget motion.
How much does it cost to take out a tree?
Well, I would say anywhere from, if we're thinking about a big tree, anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000, depending
Okay.
on the difficulty of the removal.
So, and we're talking green spaces, right?
Yeah,
So
city
how is-
public right of way.
So how is this city public right of way? So this is kind of a joint effort, right? So how is it initiated? Is it initiated by the urban forester that's pruning and that sees it? Is the homeowner just going, I don't want that tree?
Probably a
then-
little bit of both.
Yeah, and then at that point, you know, can the city go, no, you have to keep the tree?
Well, I can do
Right.
that now,
So,
so,
Yeah, we certainly wouldn't pay for it then.
no.
I'm thinking like the big maples, the silver maple, it had a huge section broken out, and I bet that was expensive to take out that tree, but it probably should have been taken out.
Right. And there are, yeah, I mean, I can think of a handful of trees that I've contacted the property owners and said, hey, this is a high-risk tree and we need to look at removing it.
I think the timeline's off because the budget season's now, so I think probably the best course of action would probably be to develop that criteria first. Because as it's apparent, well, it depends, right?
Right.
So if we had a sort of a policy and a system in place, then I think we do that maybe over the next till spring, till our summer break, maybe that's a big initiative that you guys should work on. And then next year we request it in the budget,
That's a good idea,
probably would make more sense.
since
kind
we're
of like the
requesting
planning for
pruning
the
money.
paving and the
Yeah,
green
it's more-
spaces and
yeah.
all that. Set it up as an ordinance type, how you initiate it,
It's
So
not
I
quite
will-
that formal, but yeah.
yeah.
Get with you, Stu, and get what you have in
Yeah,
place.
and then we'll just think about, yeah, so Steve, I'll just put that in your commissioner comments,
Okay.
just so we have a spot for it, to capture it.
All right, so we've got some resolution on the tree removing funding thing.
There you go.
Information, tree care
Yeah,
education.
I remembered what I was gonna talk about, I'm just gonna run it into tree care and from my report. So we talked about setting up the pruning rotation for in the parks, and I was just gonna give you a little background on how we're gonna do that, because now that we have an inventory, it makes it a lot easier, because I can go out to the park, you know, and visit the trees and put it right into the database. And so, and then all
Is that
I,
Riverside?
yeah, that's Riverside. So that's the park that's next up for pruning. And so I went out and surveyed the trees, put the info into my tablet, and then I can
Bless you.
generate a list that I can give to the contractors. And it's got the tree number on it, I can give them the map, and then they have a really clear picture of what the work is that they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And it also gives me a good tool for going back and making sure that they actually did what was on the list, because we've run into that too. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay. Nice.
Good use of it.
So you have this level of data for every public tree in the city.
As long as they've gotten captured in the inventory, there's still trees out there that have been elusive, that haven't made it
Hey,
into
hi.
the inventory.
They do go to ground.
They saw Robert coming with his Husqvarna
Well, you know,
24-inch saw and they said, no.
Not today, Robert.
you know,
Just
when we
depends on
had
what
the
condition they're in.
contractor who did the original inventory, there's areas of the city where it's really hard to tell where the right of way is, particularly like up in the Sunny Hill area where there's no sidewalk or curbs,
Right.
but the right of ways are like
Yeah.
20 feet. They're way back in these people's yards, and so a lot of those trees haven't been captured. So it's still on my list of things to get done.
Yeah, property owners would probably go, what are you doing in my yard?
Right.
I know.
Right.
Technically, it's not your yard, but
Yeah.
See the
Thank you
water
for
meter
keeping
on
track.
your
Yeah.
side of the tree?
yeah.
So this is online, right? This is that what you said that I was paying attention to?
The
That I was
inventory.
typing? Yeah.
There is a public
So I'm just
facing
gonna bring
side.
that up.
Mhm.
Is it here?
If you go to my page,
As soon as I find my mouse. There it is.
government and parks,
Come on, mouse. Oh dear.
yeah, parks, and then urban forestry, Down at the bottom.
All the way down.
Yeah, I'm always the last.
Well, it begins with you.
And
Just call
then
it community.
it's
Yeah,
right there
yeah,
at
you're
the
right.
bottom.
This is it right here?
Yep.
What's cool is you can literally go home and do this. Not
And then
really.
there'll be a little pop-up window, you just hit agree there.
Agree to share all my information and
Holy mackerel, we're green.
Yeah. And so then, yeah, and then you can
Except
just.
down that 16th, 18th area.
That underserved area.
Yeah. It ain't, well, in university too, which is surprising.
Well, see, those aren't public trees. The
Yeah.
university actually has some tree canopy,
Okay.
not as much as they should, but they're not considered public trees.
so that tree on Hall
Oh,
is a
it
flowering
is
crown.
even.
Wow, look at that. That's really cool.
Pretty cool.
What's amazing
And
is
then
there's
you
a lot of
can-
trees besides the city trees.
It gives you DBH, it gives you canopy, it gives you cover, and it's pretty cool.
And
Does it
so,
show-
That is cool.
Does it say what year it was located or so?
Does it give you any more details?
no, it doesn't give you a year that
Okay.
it was inventoried.
Oh, wow. So that's how we're gonna zoom. Okay.
And so a project, for the next urban forester coming in is, and after we have our tree canopy analysis from Planet Geo, the next step might be to start having some citizen science projects where we do inventory trees on private property, just to get a fuller picture
Mm-hmm.
of what the canopy looks like.
So you can see the underserved neighborhoods pretty obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. And then you can see the red is the city boundary. It's overlaid.
Yep.
Pretty interesting.
And
It's-
on
it's like a cluster.
Yeah, so this is what you can access from the public site, and then on the city site, we also have some other layers in there. We have the tax lot layer, which is handy. We have the water system layer, and another layer that I just added. What was it? Oh, the urban renewal area, because I wanted to see what those boundaries were. But actually, you can access that through another public map.
So is that our tree care education?
Yes,
Okay.
we're done.
All right. Commissioner comments? Robert?
Did you capture Robert's comments about the middle school? Okay, perfect.
You good?
I'm good. You want me to revisit the election piece? Is that what you're
We can redo that if you'd like.
It was rigged.
It was
It
great.
was rigged.
I might say that, it was stop the steal.
Right.
Sorry.
Screen
Tony,
live.
anything? Jen,
I'm good.
I think we're good. We'll adjourn.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.